Hello, my name is Lucy Shahjahan and I want to welcome you to today's masterclass. Now, as you can see, the title of today's masterclass is the 5 steps to attract your soulmate. So it's really great to have you here. And I know you've probably been on some webinars or masterclasses before where there's a lot of preamble and they play games and tell stories and there's just all this stuff. And it's like, come on, just get to the good stuff. So what I'm going to do is just bypass all of that, and I hope you don't mind, but I'm just going to dive right in because I've got some really fantastic content that I'm excited to share with you today. Before we begin though, I'd like to bring you into the present moment. So I'd like you to put both of your hands over your heart space. Now it's very nurturing whenever we put our hands on our heart, and it's, as I said, a great way to come into the present moment. So I'd like you to join me and just take one big breath in through your heart. And hold and release. Wonderful. So before we get into this, I just want to make sure that you're in the right place. So this masterclass is for women who are out to create an amazing soulmate relationship. They're sick of love not working out and they want to do something about it. It's for women who are committed to finding out why they sabotage and how they can break this habit ASAP. It's for women who are sick and tired of swiping right and just want to meet a man the good old-fashioned way, in person. It's for women who are tired of doing the whole friends with benefits. It gets exhausting, it doesn't go anywhere, and it just makes you feel worse. It's for women who are ready to be who they really are unapologetically instead of holding back and playing games. It's for women who are seriously ready for that big soulmate relationship filled with so much delicious intimacy and heart connection so that you feel like a queen on the daily. If you want to attract your soulmate this year, then pay very close attention because this is going to be the best 45 minutes that you've spent on yourself and your love life in a very long time. In the next 45 minutes, here is what we're going to cover. I'm going to be showing you how to attract your soulmate relationship this year, even if that feels impossible right now. I'm going to be showing you how to amplify your point of attraction, so how to raise your self-worth and your deservability so that you can attract in a high-quality man, even if that sounds too good to be true right now. I'm going to be showing you how to claim your power and harness your gorgeous, divine, feminine essence to magnetize men into your life with so much ease. I'm going to be showing you how to put the focus back on you instead of being flat out exhausted and frustrated from putting yourself out there time and time again with nothing ever working out. I'm going to be showing you how you can do all of this without even going online, going to matchmakers, or being set up by friends. Here is my big promise to you. In this masterclass, I'm going to be giving you a step-by-step strategy to attract your soulmate and keep him. Now, I know that might seem impossible right now, but my clients are doing it, and if they can do it, you can do it too. And I'm going to show you the exact strategy that they are using right now. But before we get into the good stuff, I just want to take a second to check in with you to see where you're at. Does any of this sound like you? Do you go on lots of dates, but they never turn into a lasting relationship? Do you lie awake at night, anxious that the clock is ticking and worry that you might have to give up your dream of meeting your soulmate and having a family? Do you really want a soulmate relationship, but secretly don't believe that it can happen to you? Are you jealous of your good friends having relationships and moving on with their life and creating a family? Meanwhile, you're stuck on your own island, being single with no man on the horizon? Are you trying too hard to make it happen? Or have you burnt yourself out completely and given up and withdrawn from dating altogether? Do you feel like online dating is actually doing more damage than good for your confidence? Do you worry that you don't know how to have an intimate, committed relationship, even if there was a man that came into your life right now? Are you scared to open your heart again because you just can't take another heartbreak? Are you secretly terrified that you'll end up alone with no one to grow old with? If any of that sounds like you, then I have some really good news. None of these are actually the real problem. They are just the symptoms. The real problem is that you haven't made what I call the shifts. And we are going to talk about what those are in just a second. But right now, know this. Once you make them, you'll wake up next to someone who loves you and gives you the best hugs and kisses and looks into your eyes and just wants to be with you and so much more. Isn't that just so delicious? You'll be having snuggles and juicy intimacy with your soulmate who wants to create an epic life with you. You'll be glowing and vibrant with that feeling of true love coursing through your veins because you'll be the one getting loved up on the daily. You'll be so happy that everything in your life gets better, including your job, your friendships, all these new opportunities start pouring in, and your whole outlook for life and the future is just radiating out of you. We're just so, so happy. You'll be able to talk about babies and buying a house together because now you're going to be the one ready to start your family and really create this amazing life together. You'll finally be supported, treasured, and deeply loved with an amazing man by your side. And you're going to be doing all of this while tapping back into the joy and wonder of spending your life with your Prince Charming, also known as your king. But before we go too much further, let me take 2 seconds and introduce myself so you know who I am and why the hell you should listen to me. My name is Lucy Shah Jahan and I'm married to the love of my life. He is my soulmate. Here he is. This is us on our wedding day. I am a love alchemist and relationship coach, and I'm known for getting women into relationships with the love of their life. My specialty is helping motivated single women align with love so they can attract in their soulmate in a matter of months with so much ease and joy. Now, 80% of my clients get into great relationships within 6 months because I am 100% committed to their results. Now, I've been doing this work for many years and I have clients here in the US and all around the world. I absolutely love what I do and it is a privilege for me to do this work and to empower so many women. So let me take a second and tell you the story of how I discovered the 5 shifts working with my clients. I've been coaching for years and I have had tons of clients, but 98% of the women who came to me all wanted to be in a soulmate relationship. So I started incorporating these shifts into my program and used the exact process that I used for myself to attract my soulmate and now husband. And then my course started blowing up and women were getting the shifts they needed super fast and started meeting the love of their life. Now, this is where I put all of my energy and this is my signature program. There are 5 key shifts that you must make so that you are able to magnetize your soulmate in a matter of months and have so much fun while you're doing it. Now I'm going to walk you through all 5 of these shifts on this session. So shift number 1 lights me up. This is one of the most powerful shifts. It's mastering your vulnerability like a rock star. And this is where I see so many women get stuck because they think that they're already being vulnerable and it's confusing. When in actual fact, they're not being vulnerable. They're pushing men away. And I'm going to get to that in just a second. But first, think of your favorite rock star or actor, right? They use their raw, powerful vulnerability and heart to draw you into their music. Or if they're on stage, they use their raw, powerful vulnerability to draw you into their show. If they weren't connected to their truth and their heart, you simply wouldn't feel anything. Even if they were crying their eyes out, you still wouldn't feel anything because otherwise that would just be acting. And that's what so many women do in relationships. They are saying words and acting in a certain way, but they're keeping their heart closed. Now, we all crave to feel each other's human essence. We want to feel the truth. We want to feel each other's heart. But ironically, we hide this powerful essence that's always present inside of us, just waiting to come out. So imagine if you began to take up space in your life and were yourself unapologetically, and pull in your soulmate with your beautiful vulnerability like a rock star, where vulnerability isn't actually scary for you. It's actually just something that you get to do. What would that look like to you? I just want you to take that in. So we hear about vulnerability a lot. It's out there in the media. You might have seen TED Talks or gone to, seminars and read books. But so often I see so many women confusing vulnerability with insecurity, oversharing, and neediness. So this is what your current version of vulnerability may look like. So you start dating a guy, you start to like him, and you think, okay, well, I want to accelerate this relationship. I want this to be my husband. So what you start doing is you ask him to come and meet your parents, or you start, being a rock star in the sack. You start asking, hey, do you want to get married? Are you into having children? But what actually happens is that's coming from a place of fear that the relationship isn't going to work out. So rather than actually telling him how you feel from a place of confidence, you're actually going into this neediness, and then you start overcompensating, and it can feel desperate. And listen, I've been there, and I used to hate that feeling so much, because I was literally going up to a guy that I was in a relationship with and basically saying, hey, here's my power, take it. And that's when the power imbalance actually kicks in. And I know that's not what you want. So vulnerability from a place of power will transform your connection and turn you into a rock star. Now, your connection I'm talking about is the connection with the other person, because so often women are in relationships, but they're not actually having this heart connection, which means you're not really in a relationship with someone else. You're in a relationship with yourself. But first, let me say it another way. Without this vital ingredient, you will never have a heart-connected partnership with the depth, connection, and intimacy that I know that you really want. So I put this in bold, I put a warning there, because there is a huge difference from thinking that you're being vulnerable from a place of insecurity and neediness to actually being vulnerable from your divine feminine power and confidence and that connection that you already have with yourself first. So being vulnerable from a place of power actually takes huge amounts of courage. I'm not going to, sugarcoat it for you. It really does take something. Speaking truthfully about how you really feel in your heart without holding back or stifling your expression or dimming your light is worth every bit of uncomfortability, because this is actually what's going to move your relationship forward. It's about confidently sharing your dreams with what you're out to create in your life and in your relationship with this person that's actually going to liberate you. If you think about it from an energy point of view, it's like you're opening up your arms and your whole body to this relationship instead of crossing your arms and contracting. Right? It's about telling that other person how you truly feel and knowing that you are enough. You can't be worrying about sharing your insecurities that might be coming up, because that happens to all of us. That's what love does. It makes us feel vulnerable. But it's about really opening up to these insecurities and sharing what's really in your heart. You can't be worrying about him walking away when you share yourself fully. You've got to have that confidence really flowing out of you. And that's where the work needs to happen. It's about this relationship with yourself. It's about the connection with yourself and backing yourself fully. Because if it's not this person, it'll be the next guy. So that's really what vulnerability looks like from a place of power. You can't worry about shining too brightly and scaring this man off. You've got to be all that you are and really show and stand in what it is that you have to offer. So here's the facade that I see happen so much, and it's where women get really confused, because it doesn't matter how you present yourself, what outfits you wear, or how good you are in bed. It's actually irrelevant. We are all made up of energy, and it's really about the heart connection. We've all seen those couples where you might think, gosh, how did she get him? She may not be wearing clothes that are trendy. She's probably not even wearing makeup and hasn't even done her hair. Yet she's the one walking down the street with this amazing man on her arm. Why is this? Well, it's because she's just being who she is. She's being authentic. And this is so magnetizing. And this man can't get enough of it because they're actually having a relationship. They're actually connecting at a heart level. So what matters the most is the heart connection with yourself first and foremost, and giving yourself full permission to be who you really are. I cannot say that enough. Too many women are dating with a closed heart because they are terrified of being hurt. And guess what? They keep getting hurt because we attract who we are. So it's not okay to just say, well, I was hurt, or my dad died when I was young, or I've been through a lot of breakups, so that's why I hold myself back. That story is keeping you single, and it's time for it to go. These women that end up holding back end up overcompensating in love just so they don't have to be vulnerable. So maybe you end up putting your attention on the guy and making sure all his needs are being met. Meanwhile, you're not prioritizing your own needs. And these women that are hiding behind being hurt, who don't want to be vulnerable, don't let men in emotionally. And what happens is the guy eventually loses interest. It doesn't matter what they're wearing, how good they are in bed, who their circle of friends are, or what their job is. If there is no emotional connection, the guy is going to walk away. So the bottom line is this: true intimacy and connection is only ever possible when vulnerability is present from a place of power. You will not be able to experience this big relationship that I know that you really want if you hide from your vulnerability. You will keep attracting men who are disconnected and emotionally unavailable, who will treat you badly, not care about your emotions or feelings, lead you on, ghost you, or even worse, cheat on you. No matter how strong your profile is online, or how pretty you are, or what career you have, if you're not showing up vulnerably, authentically, and bringing in your heart and your truth, you are wasting your time. So, shift number 2, you get what you deserve. It's time to lift your game. So I really mean this. You get what you think you deserve. And if you're not right now in that beautiful relationship that is overflowing with intimacy, love, passion, and where you're getting supported, then it's time to lift your game. There are only 2 reasons why you're not attracting your soulmate relationship. Either you don't truly feel deserving, which in my experience working with clients is 98% of women, or you think that you feel deserving, which is actually a trap because deep down, if you're really honest with yourself, you don't believe that you can actually have it. So recent statistics have shown that 4 out of 5 women around the world have low self-esteem. That is huge. I mean, social media and magazines play an enormous role projecting unrealistic images of beauty where women are constantly comparing themselves to these models, and it's just not realistic. So let's address this deservability problem right now. The law of attraction never switches off. So many of you might know what that is, but I'll just break it down for you. The law of attraction is that we are all energy. So we attract who we are. So if you're not feeling deserving, and if you don't know the value that you bring to a relationship, then there's actually no way that you can attract in an amazing man who's worthy and feels deserving to be in a relationship with you. Does that make sense? So when you do truly feel amazing in who you are, you don't even care if you wear makeup or not because you just feel so deserving deep down in yourselves. And when you are feeling deserving like that, that's when you can attract it in, and only from that place. So I want to ask you right now, what are you plugged into? What are your core beliefs and feelings when it comes to love? If you're not feeling deserving deep in yourselves, like I just said, then you will not attract in the love of your life, this amazing high vibrational soulmate relationship. So I want you to take a heart moment right now. Put your hands on your heart. I really want you to take that in. What are your core beliefs and feelings? What are you really plugged into? Is it love never works out for me? I never seem to get the good guys, all the good ones are taken. Let's address this deservability problem even more. Low deservability looks like giving your power away very early on in a relationship and trying really hard to make it work. It just feels exhausting, doesn't it? It's putting men on pedestals, whether you even know you're doing it or not. It's turning into a chameleon and dancing to their tune and trying to please them just so that they'll stay. It's becoming way too accommodating and overcompensating and overriding your own desires. So even if they said, oh, I want to go to this restaurant tonight, is that where you want to go? And deep down, you may not want to go to that place. You don't like that place, but you're like, oh yeah, no worries, that's fine. Or maybe a guy makes plans with you at the last minute and it doesn't feel good to you because you're not being treated like a priority, but you're like, oh yeah, no worries, I can meet you tonight at that time. So you keep overstepping what feels good for you. And that is sending the wrong signal to the guy, and you're actually signaling to him that you just want to do what he wants to do. And so you are literally showing him that you don't feel deserving and that you're not a priority. Maybe you're so busy being a giver in relationships, right? You're always meeting the guy's needs, but never prioritizing your own. And this is never going to lead to that deeply fulfilling relationship. So these patterns, these behaviors and beliefs need to be up-leveled right now. The more you do this, the more you push men away because you're hiding and you're not getting what you actually want. And it's time to stop. Here's another heart moment. Are you afraid of sharing the real you and actually just asking for what you want? You might be thinking, but Lucy, I know I deserve the best already. Yet nothing seems to change. Funny that. So I want to ask you, do you really feel deserving? You're going to be able to feel this in your body. It's like something your head might say, yeah. But tune into your heart right now. Tune into your body. Do you really feel deserving? What is your self-talk really saying when nobody's watching? I'm not pretty enough. I'm too fat. I'm too old. I have wrinkles. Maybe I'm too emotional. I'm too wounded. I have too much baggage. He won't get me anyway. Men never do. I'm damaged goods. I had a really rough childhood. You know, men always leave me anyway. Maybe I'm just not meant to be with my soulmate in this lifetime because, you know, it just seems too good to be true to even have a soulmate relationship. No matter what you've been through, it's up to you to transform your thoughts and beliefs because you are not your past. You are not your past trauma. You are not your past wounds. You are not your upsetting childhood, right? That's not who you are. It's something that's happened in the past. And yes, it might have been rough, and I'm not underestimating, you know, where you've come from, but right now I'm giving you an opportunity to create a brand new identity so that you can attract in your soulmate relationship from a place of fullness and wholeness and deservability. It's about making the decision to come out of victim mode and to step into the most powerful version of yourself. You are the creator of your world. Your mindset and your beliefs, it's all up to you. Think of a blank canvas in front of you. Right now, I'm giving you an opportunity to choose which paints you're putting on that canvas so that you can create this incredible artwork. Instead of in the past, you just keep applying paints onto this artwork that's already got paint on it. And you just keep adding and drawing over it. Do you know what I mean? So nothing ever changes because you just keep using the same paints on the same painting. And so that's why you keep attracting the same things. Right now, I'm giving you a chance to create from a blank canvas. So it's up to you to get the support that you need to rewire these beliefs so you can create a new story to live into that lights up your soul. Now, here's why deservability is better than any perfume. See, women who truly embody their value expect the best and get it versus women who don't. Women who attract quality men who want to show up for them value themselves first. This is not something you can skip over. It is vital to you attracting in your soulmate. Women who exude their value and live from their power subconsciously send the message to men that they are a total catch. So right now, just picture when you're at those events, right? And there's a woman that you don't even know who walks into the room. It doesn't even matter what she's wearing. It's the energy that she's in. And it's undeniable. And you can see that she's literally turning heads and men want to go up to her and interact with her because she is just oozing deservability. And she's just radiating that she is just an amazing woman. And men can't get enough of this. So this powerful shift will have you attract a man who wants to see you again and again and again. A man that wants to commit to you, who wants to romance you. A man who is interested in doing whatever it takes to keep you. He does not want to let you go. A man who wants to commit and walk down the aisle with you as soon as possible. Deservability is one of your biggest assets, and it's actually your secret weapon. So just imagine right now, just close your eyes and play with me. And just picture yourself in this sublime, committed relationship with a man who loves you just as much as you love him, who wants to support you and spoil you and share his life with you and have this beautiful heart connection with so much intimacy. He wants to marry you and have babies and travel and have so much fun. So I just wanted to share a little story with you about one of my clients called Rose. Now, Rose is an amazing woman. She's a go-getter. She's actually a top executive in advertising in New York City. And she'd already done a lot of self-improvement work. She'd gone to Tony Robbins, she'd done cranial therapy, and years of talk therapy. And she was getting some small breakthroughs, but nothing ever truly shifted for her. And when she came to us, it was very clear that she was desperately trying to uncover her block so that she could move forward in her life and meet her soulmate. But Rose was feeling more stuck than she ever had. She felt frustrated and completely unworthy because she was plagued with all this negative self-talk and was leaving herself at the door. She was full of anxiety and feelings of hopelessness, with just total disbelief that she could even attract this quality relationship. So yes, you can see here, Rose actually posted while she's doing Soul to Soul, like, I feel like a different person. And here's how we helped her. We helped her immediately identify her blocks, her blind spots, negative self-talk that she was having every single day, and really showed her where these damaging behaviors were coming from and how to shift them, because all these years they had been keeping her blocked. This helped her reduce her anxiety immediately. She was able to then, once she dealt with all these blocks and blind spots, she was then able to connect with her powerful true essence and her feminine power. Rose, once she got a taste of this, couldn't get enough. She started to radiate deservability, and her family picked up on this, and men even started approaching her. Now, this is something that had never happened to Rose before. And I remember when she shared this with me, she's like, Lucy, this just keeps happening. And this was only in the second week of the program. So Rose was blown away at just how fast this transformation kicked in. So the bottom line is, without embodying your full deservability, you will struggle to attract quality men and relationships and find yourself feeling frustrated and stuck in old paradigms of overcompensating and overgiving, which never feels good. One of my favorite shifts is shift number 3. This is profound, and it's actually one of the most powerful shifts that these women, when they go through my program, they're always raving about this shift. So you have a little girl living inside of you right now who is derailing your relationships, and it's time to love her up. There is a very neglected little girl living inside of you right now. She needs your love and your support. She really wants to play and have fun, but your adult is in direct conflict with that. Your little girl actually holds the keys to your happiness and your success in your relationships. Reconnecting with her will shift the entire way that you relate to yourself and to love and relationships. So who is this little girl? That's a fair question. Have you ever wondered why you withdraw or get insecure in relationships? Have you wondered why you find it so hard to open your heart and be vulnerable? Your little girl is the wounded part of you who has been abandoned, lied to, manipulated, or abused. And I just want to make it clear right now that if you're watching this and maybe you haven't had like a hard childhood and you've got 2 parents that love each other, this still applies to you, because between the ages of 0 to 7, we're picking up all this messaging, beliefs, and even though you might have this great family, I want to tell you right now that you still have a little girl inside of you who has been hurt, who has been lied to, and there is an aspect of her that doesn't believe that big love can work for her. Otherwise, you'd be in this relationship right now. So this little girl shows herself whenever there is fear, whenever there is a risk of opening your heart again. She forces you into protection mode because she wants to keep you safe. Being safe is her biggest priority. And what I see happen so often with women that I work with is they come to me and I show them, I say, do you know what? It's actually been a bigger priority for you to stay safe than it is for you to let love in. Just take that in. So what happens is you're setting up this construct, this context where you're attracting men into your life, but they're just operating out of the way that you're setting up your relationship. So basically, you're attracting men in that don't actually want to commit, because that means that you don't have to commit, which means you don't have to risk being hurt. Do you see how this works? So you've been in the past more committed to staying safe than you have been to actually committing to a big, full, heart-connected relationship. Once you determine where your little girl is sabotaging and rampaging all over your life, you can heal this and then connect her with your powerful inner queen. So you might be asking, well, okay, so I know who my little girl is, but who is your inner queen? I'll tell you. She is the confident, authentic, trusting, and powerful part of you, and she's living inside of you right now. She doesn't doubt her worth and stands in her value fully. She's unapologetic about who she is, and she doesn't even feel the need to protect herself in love for fear of rejection, because she's got a different mindset. She knows that love works out and that it's safe to bring her heart in. She knows how to satisfy herself. She spoils herself. She loves and deeply treasures herself. She always follows her instincts and puts herself and her priorities first. She loves being in her own company, and she doesn't feel less than when she is single. She actually revels in it because she knows that her king is coming. She doesn't focus externally because she knows the magic happens internally first. So I want to give you a little story about one of my clients called Anna. Now, Anna is an award-winning photographer. She's super talented. When she came to us, she'd already done a lot of work on herself, but she still felt completely stuck and constrained. She had totally withdrawn from the dating scene and given up on love because it just wasn't working out for her. All her friends somehow ended up in these amazing relationships, but Anna just couldn't seem to get it to work. See, Anna wasn't valuing herself at all, and she was people-pleasing her head off, always putting the guy first, always making sure his needs were being met, and she was just being the good girl on dates and never bringing herself in. So she decided to throw herself into her career so she could just be busy, so she didn't have to face this. She was constantly exhausted, and like I said, she had given up on love completely. So here's what Anna wrote in the group. She said, "I'm beyond grateful that you created this work." As I mentioned, Anna had already done a lot of work on herself, but there was nothing that was making a difference for her, because at this point, after all this work she'd done, she'd actually totally given up on love. So I think it's amazing when I work with women who are prepared to go that extra mile to say, yeah, I've already done a lot of work, but it's not getting me what I want. So here's how we helped Anna. We helped her connect with her little girl, her inner child, and helped her heal this deep trauma that had been stifling her self-expression and her growth since she was 5 years old. So can you imagine the enormity? Anna has been in pain and has been holding herself back since she was 5 years old. And this is why she wasn't able to successfully let another man into her life. We got her to fall head over heels in love with herself and to claim her massive power. And when Anna got a taste of this, there was no turning back. She's like, oh my God, for the first time, I am doing work that is actually moving me forward. And she started to look differently. And she even noticed that. She's like, oh my gosh, I just feel stunning. I can't wait to date again. And she was getting a lot of feedback from the people around her. And she started to attract in a completely different type of man. And all these men just couldn't get enough of her. They were actually kind of fighting over her. This is because Anna finally committed to herself, and she got authentic and learned what it looked like to put herself first. We helped her up-level her mindset, her worth, her inner confidence, and showed her how to kill off these sabotaging habits that she'd had for decades. We showed her how to step into her queen and create a completely different attitude and mindset with dating. She also completely up-leveled her business as a result of upgrading her worth and mindset, and Anna is absolutely killing it, and her business has never been in better shape. So the bottom line is this: it doesn't matter how many dates you go on. Until you have healed and created an amazing connection with your little girl within, you will always find ways to sabotage your relationships, even if they have the potential to be amazing. Shift number 4. All right, you ready for this one? Go offline and go inline. It's about being your own soulmate first. So right now, I am giving you permission to get offline. Woohoo! I am having so much joy around this because I've been online. I've been there, done that. I was attracting guys in. I had some cool experiences, but it never led to anything. So when I got offline and went inline and put the energy back into myself, this is when everything shifted. So you need to pause to accelerate. See, think about drunk driving, right? You're out there driving. You're not going to be driving in a straight line. It's actually not safe. It's dangerous. You can actually hurt people around you. Well, that's the same when it comes to dating. If you're going out there and you've got all your wounds operating, you're not enoughness, you're not feeling worthy, you don't actually believe that it can happen for you, that's what's actually coming into the dates, and that's why it's not working for you. You can't attract your soulmate when you're intoxicated with these wounds and beliefs that are actually running the show. It just can't bring you what you want. It's just like picking up hitchhikers and hoping that the next one might be your true love. So this is about putting the focus back into yourself and going within. It's about making yourself a priority to up-level your point of attraction. So stop going externally and just hoping for the best and winging it in your love life, because you're just going to constantly keep being disappointed. It's about becoming your own soulmate first. Being your own soulmate first is the only way to start a relationship. You want to be ready so that you can show up 100% in your worth and in your inner confidence, so it's radiating out of you when your Prince Charming does arrive. You want to be ready. You want to have a rock solid foundation and trust yourself enough that you can actually not only attract this love, but keep it. See, it's better than having two empty halves meeting each other at 50%. Here is a myth that I'm excited to bust right now. I hear so many women say, well, I'm not really loving my job right now, but I know that when I attract in my soulmate, he's going to complete me. And that's actually what I'm waiting for. Can you even hear the energy when I say that? It's like you've got two people operating out of 50% to make 100%. But that's not what you want, because that's how codependent relationships start. And I'm pretty sure that's not what you want. You want to be two wholes. Otherwise, you're operating out of that rescue me mentality. And that is only going to head to Disasterville on an express train. Statistics show that, yeah, online dating can be fun to begin with, but more often than not, it does more damage than good. Because a staggering 53% of people actually lie on their online profiles. And for women 26 and up, it gets tougher because men are generally looking for younger women. It's not fair, but this is the truth. So are you being your own soulmate right now? Or are you being a version of yourself that if the roles were reversed, you wouldn't even date you? I want you to really take that in. How are you showing up for dating? Are you showing up in deservability? Are you showing up because you really believe that this can happen for you? Are you backing yourself? Are you really just radiating this inner confidence? Or are you out there trying to make it happen from a place of fear and panic, and deep down, you don't actually feel deserving? You don't feel like this can happen for you. Do you have a double standard when it comes to men and dating, where you're like, well, I don't have to take care of my life. Like, I don't need to be fully happy, but he does. He needs to have it all going on. He needs to have an amazing job. He needs to be getting paid a lot and have a beach house. And I just want to meet him so he can take me under his wing and make my life better. Are you being truthful about what you want in a relationship? Because it's time to get honest. You've wasted enough time and missed many soulmate opportunities. I'm just being real here because I am rooting for you. before I tell you how to start being your own soulmate, let's go over the old way of how you've been operating. So here's what attracting your soulmate the old way looks like. You get dating advice from like-minded friends who actually aren't even in relationships. Isn't it bizarre? I used to do this. Like, I was single, yet I was allowing my single friends to tell me how I needed to behave on dates. The irony. It's like the blind leading the blind. Or maybe you read dating articles, or you're reading amazing books, or listening to podcasts. They're not bad, but they're just not going to shift your internal world. And this is what I'm talking about. Or maybe you go to your local mystic or psychic and just keep paying them to tell you what you want to hear, but nothing's ever shifting, right? Or you go to your friends that are married who are actually out of touch and have amnesia when it comes to dating these days. And guess what? Maybe they're not even in the kind of relationship that you want to be in. So you don't want to get advice from any of these people. Or you set up a dozen profiles online and just cross your fingers that your man eventually is going to just show up if you keep playing the game. So now you're doing Tinder every day, you're exhausted, you're feeling like depleted and just hoping that it works out. And you've started to think it is just a numbers game. You're putting yourself out there even if you don't want to, because you think it's the right thing to do socially, so that you can tell people, well, hey, I'm trying, but they're just no good men out there, but I am trying. Finally, you're actually going on dates, but you're not excited about any of them. It feels like a chore, right? You've lost that excitement and that joy and that thrill because deep down, you're not getting any evidence that this is going to work out. So you're doing it anyway because you think, well, I'll just meet someone and maybe he'll grow on me once I get to know him. But really on the first date, you weren't into this guy at all and you knew it. Maybe you think, well, maybe I just have to lower my standards a bit. I'm probably just a bit picky. Or maybe I can change him and his ways. Like maybe he was a douchebag, but maybe now I can get him to be this amazing man. Or maybe you think, well, I'm drawn to him because he's got a really good bank balance and a great job and a beautiful apartment and cool friends. But honestly, you're not even attracted to this guy. Or maybe you think, I'll just get my needs met right now while I'm looking for my guy. And that is not going to get you what you want because you're showing the universe that you're just prepared to put up with mediocre, right? So this is the old way and this is what's keeping you single. Or perhaps you've given up and you're just leaving it to the universe. And I'll tell you what's in that energy. Yes, it's one thing to let go and hand it over to the universe, but you only want to do that when you've fully integrated what it feels like to be deserving, what it feels like to really believe that you can have this. Otherwise, what you're essentially doing is going, hey, universe, this hasn't been working out for me, so I'm just going to let you bring me the guy. And what happens is, even if the perfect guy showed up, you would still be operating out of these limiting beliefs, the fear of rejection, the fear of loss, and you will always find a way to sabotage it. So the law of attraction is always operating, and until you heal your lack consciousness, you're still going to attract in relationships that aren't the ones that you want. And this is the old way. Rinse and repeat, stuck cycle, right? It is. It's a cycle of stuckness. And even as I'm saying that, I'm stuttering on my words because I can feel the energy of it and it's just ick. I've been there and that's why I'm just like, ah! It's exhausting, frustrating, and it feels like you're in this revolving door that's going nowhere. So here's what attracting your soulmate the new way looks like. It's about dealing with the past, with your past wounds, your past hurts, your fears of rejection, and embracing your little girl within because she holds the keys to what you actually want. It's about breaking up with your old identity and upgrading your mindset and beliefs and creating an awesome new identity that sets you up for success. It sets you up to be the leading lady when it comes to love instead of playing the understudy. It's about igniting your inner queen and untapping your divine, unlimited feminine power. And then all of this leads you to attracting your soulmate within months. This is the new way. So here's what your inner queen looks like. She has deep reverence for herself and absolutely adores who she is. Her masculine and feminine are both integrated and balanced. And what I mean by that is the masculine energy is important. We all need to have that. It's about taking action and really getting out there. The feminine energy is about your self-worth. It's about knowing and believing that you are deserving. So instead of trying to make it happen and forcing things and operating out of a place of fear and trying to control your relationships, you're actually just allowing the man to come to you. And when you do take action or go on a date, it's coming from inspired action where you actually want to go on that date, right? Because you're using your intuition and that's what's guiding you. So it's about integrating your masculine and your feminine energy. A queen chooses her thoughts and her words carefully because she knows the power and energy that every single word holds. Because your word is your wand. And a queen knows to use every word very specifically and deliberately. She is herself unapologetically and shines her light fully. She doesn't care what people think of her. She's not dimming her light for anyone. She knows who she is. She knows she's on this planet to really share all her gifts and who she is. And that's why she attracts in a king who wants to hold that space for her, who wants to see her shine and walk through life together, with her being her best self and him being his best self. Feel all that fullness? Oh my gosh, it's so juicy. She takes responsibility for her decisions, her actions, and her emotions. She doesn't bring all of the past and put it into the future. She always is constantly looking at, okay, what else do I need to heal? What else do I need to release? So that she can be operating from a clean slate. She expresses herself powerfully and always trusts her instincts. She magnetizes men with her undeniable self-worth. Men just can't get enough of it. It is absolutely undeniable when you are in the presence of a woman who's in her queen energy. She is in a soulmate relationship with herself. She knows that if she's not in that relationship with herself, then she ain't going to attract her king. So she's powerful about who she is. She owns it and she attracts in her king with so much ease. She allows it in. See the difference here? Yes, she's still taking inspired action to go on these dates when it feels right, but she's not out there chasing it or trying to make it happen. She allows and attracts it in. So I'm going to show you right now how to connect your little girl to her queen, because your queen is living inside of you right now, just as your little girl is inside of you right now. But it's about connecting these two so that you can operate out of your woman instead of operating out of your little girl. And as you can see here in these pictures, one of the images is a little girl who's feeling wounded and hurt. And in the other one, the little girl's happy and the woman's happy, and therefore you've got two queens, the little queen and the big queen. And in the first photo, you've actually got a really scared little girl, and you've got the woman who is still living out of that hurt energy. So you want to move from the little girl who doesn't feel enough and she's got all this lack consciousness and into the queen energy where you're radiating inner confidence and have that unwavering belief that life supports you to get what you actually want. It's coming out of that stifled self-expression that your little girl has, where she never got to actually say how she truly feels or say what she truly wants, and moving into that full self-expression where she doesn't hold any of her feelings back. The little girl has learned how to numb these painful feelings and suppress them because it's too painful. But when you move into the queen energy, a queen knows that you've actually got to feel in order to heal. So she wants to feel these painful memories or events that have happened so that she can heal them and transform them and actually use that painful past as your superpower. So it's coming out of these lack and fearful beliefs and moving into deep trust and creating powerful beliefs that set you up for you to actually attract your soulmate and keep him. It's about tapping into your little girl's anger and rage, and believe me, this is the work that radically shifted my life. I didn't even realize how much anger I had, and even rage, that wasn't even a word that I associated with. But once I committed to doing this little girl work, it changed the trajectory of my life, and I was able to transform this anger into my power. And it was through forgiveness and acceptance. And you might think, oh, I've already done a lot of forgiveness work, or I've already accepted a lot of things. I'm telling you right now, if you're not in the relationship that you want to be in and you keep attracting in the same type of relationships, then you haven't fully integrated this relationship with your little girl. So here's what the inner queen archetype looks like. A queen asks for what she wants and believes that she's going to get it. She never questions it. She knows she's not walking through life alone and that there is, the universe is walking with her, right? She trusts that there is a plan for her, that there is a soulmate for her, and she allows it to come to her. She attracts it in. She already sees it in her mind's eye and in her imagination. And that's where she does a lot of the work. That's where she spends her time daydreaming about this soulmate relationship rather than hammering out on all these apps trying to make it happen. She asks, she believes, she trusts, she allows, she attracts, and then she receives her soulmate from a very grounded place. Doesn't that feel like such a much better way to attract in your soulmate? Feel the ease in that, the effortlessness. It's all from the deep trust and the relationship with self. Here's how igniting my queen actually changed my life. I took my little girl under my wing and made it my mission to connect with her and to heal these past wounds. And I learned to love myself fully, like my life depended on it. I made myself a priority. And this completely shifted the way that I showed up, not just in dating, but in every area of my life. My mum started commenting on me. She started respecting me in a way that she'd never done before. My brother, friends, teachers, everyone started noticing this distinct difference in the way that I was showing up for my life. And they wanted to hang out with me more, talk with me more. They're like, wow, you were really inspiring me to actually be better in my life. I became my own soulmate first. And it completely changed the way, like I said, the way that I approached dating. I was finally authentic and vulnerable, and I was in my full power for the first time in my life. And granted, it took me till I was in my 30s, but let me tell you, I haven't looked back. And this is the place that I attracted in my now husband. I ditched my checklist. I got out of my head and into my heart. I got offline and went inline and did the inner work and started loving myself up like my life depended on it. And I know I've said that twice, and that's because I really want you to hear that and take it in. It's got to be your number one priority, because where we put our energy is what we attract. What we focus on and what we intend is what we attract. I met my soulmate in under 3 months once I applied these shifts. He's now my husband. I get to wake up next to him every morning, and he is the love of my life. When I'm not just in a relationship, I am in a high vibrational soulmate relationship, and we create our life together. And he allows me to be all of who I am, which is a really big light. Before, I was flat out dimming it for men. Now I can't even shine it bright enough, because that's what he wants me to be. And it feels amazing. And right now we're actually starting a divine family and working on baby Shah Jahans as we speak, and having a lot of fun just quietly while we do it. So here he is, the man of the moment. He's pretty cute. And like I said, I'm now married to the love of my life. And this just didn't come out of a coincidence. I told you I got offline and then he came into my life. And it's because I made it my mission to get aligned with being able to receive love. I want to tell you about one of my clients, Sophia. So Sophia was dating every week. She was committed, but she wasn't enjoying it at all. And it felt like a second job. It was exhausting her, and it was actually affecting her confidence in a really detrimental way. It was doing more harm than good. She was doing it from a place of fear and panic and urgency because it's what she thought she should be doing to fit social expectations. She was also in her 30s and wants to have a family, so she was just like, well, I've just got to keep putting myself out there even if I don't want to, because I really want to be married and have children. She was also in an on-again, off-again roller coaster relationship with a guy who didn't want to commit. They had that chat about commitment all the time, but he just wasn't budging. Yes, they had a connection and it was good physically, but at the end of the day, she wanted babies and marriage and just to move forward, and he didn't. So when she came to work with me, I said, listen, Sophia, you need to get offline and drop the guy. And when she did this, she gave her full commitment to the queen work and to her little girl work. And she actually started to replenish her energy. She started to feel full again. She started to fill up her love tank and her heart, and had so much fun spending time pouring this love back into herself instead of putting herself out there and putting energy into her external world and into trying to make it happen. She'd never felt better. It reinvigorated her life on every level, and she felt free, powerful, and liberated. So for the first time in her life, she felt ready to date from a place of belief and wholeness and fullness and deep trust. And you don't have to stop dating and go offline, but it is the fastest way to make exponential shifts and upgrade your point of attraction so that you can attract in a man who actually wants to show up for you, a man who wants to commit to you and spend the rest of his life with you. Now that Sophia is committed to prioritizing herself, she's absolutely loving dating again and is attracting quality men who prioritize her, who want to take her to the best restaurants, who want to take her away. You know, they can't get enough of her because she is emitting this amazing deservability, and it just is the most powerful thing to attract a man and keep him. And that is a queen in action. She's absolutely killing it and having so much fun. So if you're serious about finding love, then you need to get serious about finding a mentor. This is the 5th shift, and it is one of the most vital shifts, because it's not something that you can do at home, right? You've already been out there dating and it's not working for you. So how on earth are you going to transform maybe 30 years of these limiting beliefs on your own? It's like we cannot heal ourselves. That's why I'm saying that you should get a mentor ASAP, so that someone who's already walked the path successfully can keep you accountable to your big dreams, to getting this soulmate relationship, to help you break patterns and those blind spots that you can't even see, and those behaviors that have been keeping you stuck for decades, and to get you to your desired goal, which is your soulmate, so that you can be the one walking down the aisle in the shortest amount of time. See, a mentor has a roadmap. You wouldn't want to go to a new destination that you'd never been to before without a GPS or a solid roadmap, because otherwise it's going to take you a hell of a long time to get there, because you're going to keep going down dead ends and taking time, and you're going to get lost. But right now, getting a mentor is going to accelerate you bringing in your soulmate. See, the most successful people in the world right now have mentors. Think of Oprah. Nicole Kidman, she's got a mentor that goes everywhere with her, that helps her, because believe it or not, she's got limiting beliefs in her acting career. So, you know, it's very much about setting yourself up for success. These people that have mentors in the world that are up to really big things know that it's not worth their time to recreate the wheel, and you don't have to either. There's never been a better time to get serious about what's actually been holding you back for 25 years or more. You've got to give up this notion of trying so that you can actually get the result that you're looking for, which is your soulmate. Success is 80% mindset and 20% action. And if you're serious about finding your soulmate this year, then you will need a new winning mindset and consistent support from a mentor to keep you accountable, to keep you moving forward so you don't slip back into your old ways and your old behaviors. Let's take a quick minute to look at why mindset is the key. Imagine being fully supported right now. So instead of just putting yourself out there and just doing a scattergun approach, right now you said you found this amazing mentor, they've got your best interests at heart, and you get to be taken through this powerful process to keep you connected with your dream, to get you out of the weeds and out of those limiting beliefs and elevating your consciousness so that you can actually really let in the possibility of getting your dream. Doesn't that feel amazing just to have that support? You've got to invest in yourself and invest in mentoring. It comes down to a couple of things. Mindset. See, mindset is all about the quality of your beliefs. It's like, what are the thoughts that you're focusing on? What are your intentions? What are the quality of your beliefs? And then with your mindset, when you up level that, it means that anything is possible, and you start to actually open up what's possible with this new powerful mindset It moves you towards your dream instead of these lack consciousness and limiting beliefs that take you away from your dream. It's about not just taking action, but with this new mindset to take inspired action from your instincts. So it's about how you're taking action and not just taking action. And then you get to the delicious outcome, which is attracting in your soulmate and being able to keep him. It's about really up-leveling your mindset and taking inspired action to have the ultimate desire, which is your soulmate and your happiness. So to change the current outcome and your current circumstances, I'm going to say this again. It's about changing your mindset and taking deliberate, powerful, inspired action. This new outcome and place of living is actually going to get you the future that you want to live into. Finding a mentor will change the trajectory of your life. A mentor helps you to create lasting change instead of you doing it alone and just collecting more information and reading more books and going to more seminars and bleeding money out into all these these attempts that you know haven't been getting you what you want. You've got to change your mindset, and the quickest way to do that is to get a mentor who's walked the path already, who's already in a divine relationship. Getting a mentor is actually saying to the universe that you're ready to make it a priority to attract your soulmate right now. So there are some statistics that I thought you might find interesting. You know, women who are struggling to meet their soulmate and who don't get support will most likely never meet their soulmate. And a recent survey actually conducted by Siemens found that as many as 73% of people surveyed said that they are making do in their relationships because their true love got away. So they settled, and people settle for many reasons, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you're on this masterclass, which tells me that you want a really high vibrational relationship. People settle for fear of being alone, of wanting security and companionship, but see how that's coming from a place of neediness and fear versus fullness and trust. You go through some form of training for everything in your life that you do. So if you want to be a doctor, you go and train for that. You want to be a vet, you train for that. But for some reason, we don't think that we need to work on that in our personal lives. And, you know, getting into a relationship is a really big deal. Spending the rest of your life with someone is a really big deal, right? You're merging your life with another human being. And then, for those of you that want children, you actually bring a child into the world. So it's about doing this from a place of power and wholeness and a really rock solid foundation so that you can get out there and rock an incredible soulmate relationship so you experience so much fulfillment. It's like you're thriving instead of surviving. Trying to do proper relationships without the training is just flat out crazy. I've personally invested at least $50,000 on mentoring myself, and it was worth every penny. It was an investment for me. Every time, yeah, it was a big decision, but I'm counting my lucky stars that I actually had the courage to say yes, because I was saying yes to me, and it's paid off. Now the investment, like I said, it pays off daily because I get to wake up next to my soulmate with the love of my life, and we're creating an epic life together and starting a family. He's not only my life partner, he's my rock, he's my support system, and this is priceless. So here are some great questions to ask yourself when looking for a mentor. And honestly, it doesn't matter who this person is, whether it's with me or someone else that you've got a great connection with. All I am saying is that I want you to stop wasting your time trying to bring this soulmate in. You've got to do something different. You've got to get the support that you need to thrive so that you can literally be the one walking down the aisle in as little as 6 months' time. So here's some helpful questions. Is this mentor someone that I feel I have a connection with? Is this mentor in a committed, loving relationship and thriving, and in a relationship that I myself actually aspire to be in? Do I feel like I could learn from this person? Today, I promised I'd show you how to attract your soulmate relationship this year, even if that felt impossible right now. I promised that I'd show you how to ramp up your point of attraction so that you can attract a high-quality man, even if that sounded too good to be true. I promised that I'd show you how to amplify your self-worth and deservability instead of selling yourself short and undervaluing who you are. I promised I'd show you how to harness your feminine power and put the focus and energy back into you instead of being exhausted and frustrated from putting yourself out there constantly. I promised that I'd show you how to do all of this without even needing to go online or going to matchmakers or even needing to be set up by friends. I promised that I'd show you a step-by-step strategy to attract your soulmate and keep him. Here's what you need to win. The 5 shifts. Number 1, mastering your vulnerability like a rock star. Shift number 2, you get what you deserve. It's time to lift your game. Shift number 3, your little girl within is derailing your relationships. It's time to adore her. Shift number 4, stop dating and be your own soulmate first. Shift number 5, and one of the most important shifts, is don't try and do this on your own. Invest in mentoring, because information is nothing without integration and activation. So now you have a choice. You can either take the information I've given you and you can forget all about it and never think about it again. You can continue to feel lonely and depressed and stay single. You can keep wasting time online, wearing yourself out and feeling depleted and being sucked into a vortex of hopelessness, fear and panic and distrust. You can keep struggling and attracting the wrong guys who never show up for you and live in frustration. Or if you're done with all that bullshit and struggle and you want to be the one in a soulmate relationship planning your wedding, if that's what you want, then here's what I have for you. Here's how I can help. My team and I have set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak to you personally about how you can apply these powerful shifts into your life starting right now. Whatever your biggest challenges are, believe me, I've seen it all and I know how to help you overcome it. On this session, we will work with you to craft a step-by-step game plan to fall in love with yourself, ignite your queen, and attract your soulmate. The cost is absolutely free. I'm going to help you get clear on 3 things. What's in the way, what you actually want, and what steps you must take to attract your soulmate. So I want to be clear once again on who this is for. If you aren't willing to work at it, that's okay. It's just this definitely isn't for you. If you just want more information to add to your knowledge that isn't getting you the results that you want, this isn't for you. You must be coachable and willing to do what it takes to put yourself first so you can attract your divine soulmate. It's for women who are committed to being in a loving partnership within the next 6 months or less. If that's you, then book a session right now because spots do fill up really quickly. I will just want to let you know why we're doing this, because you might be thinking, Lucy, what's the catch? Like, why are you offering me a free call? Well, I do this because I love giving back. You know, my big mission is to empower women, as many women as possible, to be in soulmate relationships. And I love helping single women get out of their own way, because this was actually what I was going through myself with all the struggle. So there's nothing that lights me up more than helping women to attract in their soulmate relationship. It is your birthright to be in a soulmate relationship. Plus, I know that, you might want our help to transform your love life. If so, we can discuss it and see if it's a good fit for both of us. If not, that's totally fine too. Here's how to apply. Go to www.soultosoulglobal.com/exploration-call. Now what will happen is you'll click this button or just type in the URL on this slide. You'll go to my calendar page and then you'll see the times that are available. Then you'll be taken to an application page and just fill it out. Then you're all set. This will be the best hour that you've ever spent working on your love life, because this time in 6 months, you're going to be the one in an incredible relationship planning your future. Now, before you go, I want to tell you a quick story about one of my clients. There are so many of these stories that I could share with you, but I just want to share this one particular story about this divine woman who came to me. She had been out of a relationship for 5 years. And she said to me, you know what, Lucy, I don't think there's any hope for me. I'm just not good at love. Now, here's the deal with this beautiful soul sister is she never had trouble actually getting dates. So it wasn't like for 5 years, nothing happened. No, she was dating, she was on the app, she was putting herself out there, but she just kept getting guy after guy after guy that would either ghost her or be really like into her, and then it would fizzle. And so for 5 years, she was like, I just can't get a relationship off the ground. And as she was approaching 40, she was literally like, you know what? I think I'm just destined to be single. The most beautiful thing happened. She said yes to herself. She chose soul to soul. And now she is literally living her best life. And she is living with her soulmate. And she still messages me to this day saying, I can't thank you enough. And I said, look, my pleasure, darling. But honestly, you're the one that committed and you're the one that changed your life. I have the process. I have the platform. I hold the space. But you know what I want to be clear about here is this is a co-creation. So if you're ready to bring your A game and you're ready to be that woman that steps up into her light, out of this story that love doesn't work out for you, if you're sick of being left behind, you're sick of not having men show up for you, there's nothing wrong with you, darling. All you got to do is say yes to you and take action. And then next year will be a very different year. Okay, so it's all here for you, beautiful goddess. It is not ever too late, but it's definitely about taking action. My name is Lucy Shah Jahan, and I truly want to thank you so much for tuning into this masterclass. And I know we'll be speaking very soon.